Milah like this.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
What's goody, y'all? Welcome back to another beautiful
Wait,
episode.
hold on. Okay.
You're finally back, and this is how you act.
You're so dramatic.
I'm about to put you back on suspension. What's goody, y'all? Welcome back to another beautiful, luscious, sensual episode of Love Like This Lovecast. It's me, your boy, the one and only, the lover of all lovers. I'm gonna start using that. The lover of all lovers. I'm your favorite lover's lover.
First of all, that would require for you to listen.
Relax.
Lovers listen.
Relax. And today, on this special episode, I have wonderful guest. You might have heard her here before. And she's one of my favorite people to sit next to and podcast with. I want to introduce y'all to the one and only, the very special, the love of my life and hopefully nobody else's. The author, retreat leader, Jamilah Mapp. Jamilah, welcome to the Lovecast.
What's wrong with you? Yo?
Come on, you know you love it here. You love this. Come on, we did it. Are you jealous of me? Are you jealous of me because I was able to pull off these solo episodes?
Jealous is not the word I would use. Dude.
What's the word? What is the word that you would use if not jealous?
Not jealous. You're so. It's coming. Wait, it's on the tip of my tongue. The word I would use is annoying. Yeah, I think you're annoying.
We don't think that. There's no.
Why are
way...
you sipping it like that?
ASMR. Just kidding. There's no way you could think I'm annoying. There's no way. Not the way I'd be making you laugh and happy and squirt.
No way. And we haven't had sex in like 3 days.
Yeah, because the 3 days before that, we were on a fucking rampage of sex. Like, yeah, I need a break. I actually thought about that this morning. I was like, it's been a little minute since I've been like in the groove to like get at you and stick my dick in you. And I was like, well, before that, my dick was in you for like 12, 14 hours straight for like 4 days.
That's
back
because
to back.
It was not in me for 14 days back to back. Maybe 15, because I don't even know if we had sex the last day. 15 days.
Yeah, so
it was back pay.
I need a re-up. Hey, this is me.
You gonna have sex for 4 days? 14
No,
hours?
this is me. What's that thing where you don't come?
What do you have to do tomorrow? Semen retention?
Semen retention.
Semen retention
right now.
Semen retention would require that you orgasm.
All right, well, I'm celibate.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm celibate right now, baby. I'm gonna do a week of celibacy and see how it sits with me.
You just did.
Or maybe I should do weekly detox of different things. Like 1 week I'll detox sex. 1 week I'll maybe not have food. 1 week I'll like take away something major.
Lent, weekly Lent.
Yeah, weekly Lent. Oh, that's good. That's good. 1 week and I won't be a boyfriend. I'll just be single.
Okay.
Take away a relationship for a week and see how happy I get. Even though when you're gone.
Stay at your aunt's during that week. I got a couple people need to come.
No, you'll still be in a relationship. I won't be in a relationship. I'm the one on land. You're not on. You don't need to detox from me. I need to detox from you.
Interesting
Yeah.
concepts are coming up here.
But back to my original question: are you jealous that I've been able to pull off these one-on-one interviews and you still can't fathom how to podcast alone?
I think I could fathom how to podcast.
You think you could do it?
I know I could do it.
I want you to podcast.
Are you jealous that I'm the more seasoned expert?
You're not.
Podcaster?
You're actually not.
Babe, I've been podcasting much
Since when?
longer.
Since when have you been podcasting? What year? Say the year.
2018.
So have I. Yes.
No, you
I started podcasting December of 2018.
I just started in March, so I'm
Okay.
way before you.
You're like the half sister, the half child that's like a few months older.
No.
Yeah, we both started podcasting the same year.
Have you wrote a book?
Have you what?
You bitch. Have you?
That was petty. Have you done a retreat with your podcast?
You haven't, but guess what? You will in June,
Listen.
because we're having a couples retreat, because I brought
Yeah,
you on to the
that's
Good
true.
Vibe retreat as an
That's true.
international
That's true.
healer.
That's true.
I'm inviting my kind,
Talk your shit.
loving, grateful
I
boyfriend
am grateful.
and
Not annoying. Great adjective.
my international leadership.
Yeah.
And because of my very established expertise in this field, you are now given the opportunity to show up full peacock feathers
Yeah. I'll give you this much. You are on
and
your
bring your masculine energy to the Good Vibe Retreat, which has never before happened in the
never before
history.
happened. But there's only one man that could do it. Me, myself, and I.
There's going to actually be two men.
There's only
So if you're listening and you're interested in going on a vacation this summer
yeah.
with your bae, with your
Yeah.
boo, if it's new, if it's old and you need a little revival, if it's old and it's great and you want to just hang out with some other cool couples, learn some new shit, please join us and click the link in this episode description. We're going to the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. It's beautiful. It's our first time having a couples retreat. We are thinking of like, there's so many special things that are going to happen. But most importantly, we have like a small cohort. We're going to do pre-Zooms leading up to the retreat that start in March that are important to kind of like start learning the methods and the practices so that you don't come you're coming and you're leaving with so much. Not only are you having a week of intimacy and connection and play and fun and learning new shit and adventures, you also get classes from experts to use in your relationship with tantra. There's tantra one-on-ones for the couples. There's massages. There's Reiki. We're gonna have a psilocybin experience.
All the things that can level up your relationship. Everything. If you want your relationship leveled up, it's here. If you want your relationship better, it's here. If you want your relationship to stay exactly the same because you don't want any more fucking problems, because some men don't even need things better. They just want no more problems. Good Vibe Retreat.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be better. So if you don't want better, don't come to this retreat.
Yeah.
But it's for open-minded lovers. It's for people who like to explore and adventure.
And it's for all duos.
And it's for all duos. It could be, we're
all encompassing.
Yep.
The
DEI, DIE, what is it?
DEI for the DEI retreat.
Diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, this is why I missed you, because my call to actions have been shitty, and two, my intros have been terrible.
No, I'm so jealous of you and your little baby shorts.
These are nice shorts. Look, everybody, look at my little.
Let me ask you a question. Are you? Can you sit the fuck down? Are you jealous of me? Because I can wear a crop top.
I can wear a crop. Nigga, you met me in a crop top. Nigga,
are you jealous of me because of all my accolades and my busy schedule?
I don't know.
And my worldwide travels.
There is one thing I sometimes think about, and I go, damn, I am a little bit envious of that. Is that, well, one, you're still on your first podcast, right? You're a franchise player. I don't know if you know NBA terminology, but you're a franchise player. You're like a Kobe Bryant.
But I am the Lakers.
Because you're on your first. You're still on your first.
And I'm the
Lakers. Yeah. You're on your first team. I, on the other hand, in true whore form, I do like that. In true whore form, I am on my fourth podcast, so I'm being passed around through all these different people.
You're a rookie.
But you are my.
I'm an all-star. MVP, baby.
You are my first female co-host, and I am taking that as a sign that this is going to be the successful one, because no more men. No more men. But as I was going to say,
you're my first male co-host.
Yeah,
it's been challenging.
Yeah, and this is more so like I got my championships over here. I could just go over here to this league and play around and toy around with my boyfriend a little bit, because I'm already successful in this bitch. That's how I feel like you see it. The one thing I am envious about when it comes to you is that you have a brand, specifically podcasting, but you have a brand that is with someone that you consider a friend. And when I think about my past podcasts, and some were friends, one wasn't. But I think about like, if I was podcasting with a friend and the success rate and the direction that we were going, how big and how great it could have been, because
you're inspired.
Yeah. Shut up. Good Moms, y'all had an episode today and y'all were saying how, sometimes you talk about starting a business or a brand with a friend and how like it could be scary or troublesome or whatever like that. But I think that in true essence and in friendship, when you're doing something as a friend, if a business sprouts out of it, it's fine, rather than two friends trying to start a business. That's the difference with you. And so that's something that is worthy to be envious about. That like, yo, I would have liked to have something with a friend, and it was going that direction where it would have been monumental. And if we were actual friends and actually really cool and genuine with each other, that shit would have been amazing. So
You
I give
think
you that
I'm
much.
you think I'm monumental?
I do think you're monumental. I think they could replace all four faces on Mount Rushmore with just you and Erica. That's how monumental.
It's true.
And you know I felt this way since I
It's
first met you.
true.
Since I first met you, I've been giving you your flowers. Like I fuck with this. Fuck with y'all. I like y'all.
Well,
Whatever y'all need.
I
So
appreciate you giving us our flowers and being as much of a support as you have been to the podcast, to us personally. It's been a nice and interesting meshing because we are very close in business and in life, and
yeah,
so it took a special man to be able to infiltrate and, I mean, honestly, support us the way that you do. You are a huge component to Good Moms, to the podcast, to our live touring, to, just all of the things that you've supported us in,
yeah.
editing, fucking
Production.
production, the studio. So I'm grateful.
At one time, I was the production.
I mean, honestly, we used to say, like, if the boyfriends we get can't help us, what is the point of, you can't, like, we do
Yeah,
too many things.
yeah.
So
I'm happy to be the boyfriend that you could depend on.
I appreciate that. I'm trying to be better this year at not treating this like my side bitch podcast.
Yes. Oh my God, that is the perfect description. Side bitch podcast. Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes.
Somewhere there's a side bitch podcast. There's some side
Yeah,
bitches talking about side bitch shit right now.
yeah. But the reason why I do feel like you treat this like a side bitch podcast because you come into this like, I'm successful. I've done this, all right? One podcast is all I needed. One podcast. I did this thing. I'm an author, retreat leader, podcaster, but on both. And so you come over here like, listen, bitch ass nigga Orlando. I don't give a fuck how much you've helped me. I'm gonna edit. Well, not really edit, because I'm gonna say I'm gonna edit, but then when it comes time to edit, I'm gonna tell you to do it. Whoops.
Rookie.
I know, rookie mistake.
Phones on during my motherfucking podcast. This is why I don't take this shit seriously. You can't. This podcast can't be my motherfucking wife. With the phone on and shit. This is
Erica would have never.
side bitch podcast. I'm gonna. I don't come over here with that attitude, but I would like to show for the record, just for the proof of the pudding, is that you should listen to me.
I do listen to
I
you.
do. You know, it's so interesting. Speaking of listening to me, you made a point this morning to drag your feet, even though you've been trying to make me do a meditation, endlessly trying to make me do a meditation. Me keep saying, let's do a meditation. I said, well, do you know meditation? No, but you do. So finally I said, let's do the meditation. He's frumping around. So then today, you know what he says to me hours later? I did like that meditation we did this morning. Oh, did you? Even though you might have thought that I didn't really want to do it, because I don't know why you would think that. There was no reason why you would think that, because I did want to do it, but my body language probably said otherwise, because you just crazy. Remember when you said that
You
an
know,
hour
you know
ago?
what I'm realizing that we have like similarities in
What?
when this fucking mic turns on and this camera starts rolling, the truth, how we really feel, starts coming out. Now, we do have good communication in our relationship. Let's not get that wrong. We have good communication in our relationship, but I've never communicated better with you about real feelings like I have when we start podcasting.
I don't know.
I don't know why. I don't know why. But when it comes to working together and working on this brand together and things like that, my sometimes frustration and annoyance comes in where I don't think that you trust me enough
Hmm.
in this space and realm,
I don't.
regardless of all the things that I'm doing. And I don't think you trust me enough in the sense of you feel as if you've gone to a certain point of success that
Not making me
you
sound like a podcast snob.
well, no, there's another part of it. You feel like you've gone to a certain part of success by doing everything. You and Erica had to do literally everything. So in this case, you're not seeing it as, oh, Erica's here and Erica knows how to do a bunch of shit too. Um, so I could just chill out and I could just do what I got to do. Here, you're looking at it as, oh, I'm so used to doing everything, and Erica's not here, so I got to do everything. And that's not the case. I'm saying that's how it feels
I do
to me.
trust you. I trust you. I just want you to take my advice and my advisement when I say have creative input about certain things and not disregard my input because obviously I know something.
Uh,
I know it's a different thing. I know we're building something new. But yeah, I just,
I
I would
also think that
appreciate.
I also think that you're a bit sensitive, more sensitive when there is feedback or speech or volume
I
coming
think
from a man
I think you're
in comparison to coming from a woman.
do you think it's your mommy issues with the trust
No, I think it's your
that you think I don't
trust
trust you?
issues with men. I don't think I think it's you. It's your trust issues with men. You have a certain level of patience and serenity
Serenity.
and I'm just throwing a big
Words.
beautiful words. Yeah. No, but you have a level of patience when it comes to women. Similar to the time where I said, "Hey, maybe you should apply a little bit more lipstick." And you were like, "Oh, who the fuck you think you talking
I
to?" But
never.
in your mind, you're like, "Who the fuck you think you talking to?" But then you stopped and said to yourself, "Well, if one of my homegirls had said apply some more lipstick, bitch, I would have been like, okay,
And then
bitch,
I got engaged because I have
because you finally
no,
listened."
because I have awareness enough to be like, am I being sensitive or is she just making a comment? I
Yeah,
didn't even need lip gloss that day. You were just trying to make sure I looked extra cute, which I
yeah,
appreciate because I was about to
yeah,
get proposed to.
yeah.
But
And what?
that's a prime example of how I do use my awareness to not jump the gun. But sometimes I recognize back to my initial statement about this morning's meditation that's on Patreon. If you would like to join us on a morning meditation, join Patreon because we're going to put more meditations and more bedroom, nighttime, tantra, and intimacy advice on Patreon. So if you're coupled and you want to learn some sexy shit, go
Mhm.
over there. Anyway, back to what I was saying initially about Patreon meditations is that you later in the day, and you tend to do this, my
Mhm.
love, acknowledge that you were less than enthused about doing it. But however, in the moment when I was feeling and seeing those vibes and that resistance, and then I say, you know what, fuck it, never mind, we don't have to do it right now. If you're not feeling it, and you're like, no, let's do it, and then we do it, and then we're both like doing it after we've already got into I've observed you not being, I've observed you being resistant, and then you do it anyway, and now we're both annoyed. But later on in the day, you acknowledged, even if it was a half-ass acknowledgement, that maybe it wasn't just me. You were being a bit resistant
Mhm.
to just pushing record, even though it was already set up, even though it only took 30 minutes.
Okay, okay, okay.
And what I would like in the future,
Mhm.
this is NVC. Now I'm stating my feelings.
Nonviolent communication.
Sometimes
That's what
when I
NBC is.
observe your behavior, feeling resistant to trying what I'm asking you to try, yes, I do feel like, fuck it, I'm just going to shut down. I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
Because you always make it seem like I don't want to do the content and make the things. But when I'm enthused and ready to do it, then you don't want to do it. And then we crash heads. And then I'm like, now we're both
Butt heads.
annoyed. So
Okay.
now all I'm asking for you is that in the moment, if you would acknowledge that you're feeling resistant instead of saying, I do want to do it. I do what? I do want to do it. And I'm obviously you can tell that you don't really want to do it, but you're telling me that you do and that I'm fucking acting crazy when I'm not. I would like you to self-reflect like I do and be aware and be like, am I feeling resistant? And is her being shut down and feeling sensitive as a result of what the energy that I'm bringing to the table that doesn't necessarily need to be verbal energy, but this is a bitch that I live with and knows me very well, so she's
You're
probably
going in right
reading
now.
me. She's probably reading my energy and knowing, yeah, I'm not
Can
really
I
that
can I
enthused.
can I interject?
I'm just telling you my
Can
request.
I interject?
Sure.
Your request is denied. The answer is
I'm done. I'm out.
no.
I'm out.
But I can explain a little bit further.
Oh, wow, I
My
can't wait
I
to hear.
am not hesitant to do content with you. I actually want to always do content with you. My hesitation comes in truly and honestly. You don't have to play with the mic. The camera angle's fine.
No, it's bouncing.
Yeah, there you go. Bouncing. Um, my hesitation comes in where when I get a bit confused and I don't know what direction we're going or what I have to do within the thing. So I'm trying to interject and understand and then have a vision of what it's going to look like on camera and how it's going to sound on mic. So that's where my mind goes. It's not that I don't want to do these things, it's that I'm thinking about multiple things around the thing that we're doing.
So that's where
So
you made that comment to me today that said that I thought that you didn't really want to do it because I just thought that you didn't have any take any that statement wasn't to
so
acknowledge
like I said, your
that
request
you
is denied.
this
So
is how we don't grow. This is
but I can be solution based. I am about to be solution based and say that if we can agree, right, on you trusting me, right, and what I have to do, right,
what did you have to
and
do this morning that caused you to be
no,
resistant?
I'm just talking about in the overall aspect of like doing this.
Okay,
That like we trust each other in the sense of like, yes, I know you're an expert. I know you're
I'm just
going to
asking
be.
about this particular instance today. Do you acknowledge that you were a little bit resistant and that
I just said
caused
no. I said I wasn't resistant to doing it. I always want to do content with you. Is when I this is your realm. Tantra, meditation, stuff like that is your realm. So what I'm trying to do is figure out where I land and where I can like help out with and what's the word? Have some type of input within the space while also thinking about the camera angle on the mic.
you're about to piss me off?
I'm what do you want from me? You want me to tell you the truth or not?
I want you to tell me the truth about this morning
That's what I'm talking
specifically.
about this
But
morning.
there was no confusion. I just said push record.
But
It was
Mila,
already set up, and
love,
I'm gonna do
you hold my
the
hand.
meditation. You don't even have to talk. So what was the confusion today?
I just said how it's going to sound on audio, how it's going to look on camera. There are multiple things that
How
I'm
is it
thinking
gonna look
about.
any different than anything else we recorded in the
To
same
you,
exact spot?
Mila, you don't edit, so you wouldn't think
I'm
about these
asking
things.
you right now.
Mila, this is just what you're asking me to tell you what I was thinking about. I'm
I'm
telling you what I was
asking
thinking
you
about in the
to just
moment.
acknowledge whatever I was picking up on. If it was
Okay, then I acknowledge it, whatever you were picking up on. If that's what you want me to say,
no,
then
you're
to
being
move
an
on.
asshole.
Do you want me
When
to?
you made the comment when we were standing right there, even though you thought that I didn't really want to do
Mila,
it, were you being sarcastic?
Mila. No, I was not. I was being serious with you, and I'm being serious with you now. Do you want me to honestly tell you how I feel, or do you want me to just agree with you?
No, I want you to tell me how you
Okay,
feel.
and well, then that's how I feel. Are you gonna accept what I'm saying?
How is it that you feel that you were totally enthused this morning about doing it?
Yes, I was. I was not enthused
You
about
just said that
doing
you
it.
were confused, and that's why you
But
weren't.
that doesn't mean I wasn't enthused.
So where you were confused, which you may have come off as not enthused.
Yes, that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm saying to you.
Confused, not enthused.
Yes. So why do you keep repeating it?
I'm just trying to find clarity about what the confusion was.
There's really not anything deep to this. I just was trying to understand what direction we were going, and that's it. I um what was the fuck was I gonna say? I enjoy making content with you. If you can take a second and when you're explaining or speaking or talking about stuff, right? Not feel like you have to do everything or not feel like you have to be overbearing with everything because I got this. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
Love you.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now that I have you here, now that we have got that cleared up, and now that we have leveled up our relationship, because that's all we fucking do is level up our relationship all the time. I wanted to discuss with you the origin of love in your life, from your birth to right now, and the experiences that you've gone through. I know that you haven't listened to the episodes, even though I've asked you multiple times to listen to the episodes that I did with the men because they were so beautiful. But within doing those wonderful, beautiful, lovely
Orlando.
episodes that I did one on one, by myself,
I'm busy.
yeah, right. Uh, because I did those wonderful episodes by myself with the men, I thought that it would only make sense to also speak to women and get an understanding of where they came from, because I want to be a better partner. That's what I've been telling everybody, which is very true. I want to be a better partner to you because I'm engaged now. I'm gonna be married one day to a wonderful 4'11", 90-pound woman. And I want to make
I am
sure that
5'1"
right. I want to make
and
sure
100 pounds.
right. I want to make sure that I am as perfect as I can be for her. And I felt like I could do that by speaking to people and understanding women a bit better. And honestly, it's been working. It's been helping my patients with you. it's been helping to understand you better and what you may be going through in your own head, just based off just life and life expectancy. So I wanted to say to you that the people that I have spoken to in these episodes have truly helped me become a better partner to you. And now I want to speak to you so I can level up my partnership.
Okay, when I speak, though, I would like you to acknowledge the things I'm saying.
I acknowledge that I wasn't as enthused this morning about this content that you want to make. I acknowledge that you picked up on my energy, and after I may not have said it in the moment, but as the days went on, I realized my actions. I reflected on this moment, and I am able to look back and say that my attitude could have been better, and also in the future, I will be better.
Are you just saying that to shut me up?
What the fuck do you want? I said it. I didn't say it
But do
before.
you mean it?
So I mean it. I'm
Okay,
saying
so
it.
why
I
would it
mean
take
it.
all of that for you to just say what I've been
my
wanting you to
God.
say
Did
from
you
the
forget
beginning?
about all the other things I said about being engaged and wanting to be a beautiful husband to
No,
you?
I just want to know why, if you knew what I was getting at, why you just didn't acknowledge that and say that from the beginning.
I'm saying it now.
Let me tell you something.
Oh my God.
As a woman who's been previously on a very high level attempted gaslit, I do not take well to that. You've never been in a long-term relationship that has intentionally tried to fucking confuse you and talk you in circles. And when I say confuse you, I mean like talk to you for hours into the wee hours and say random shit to really confuse you. I really would appreciate if I'm saying something that resonates with you at all, instead of acting like I don't know what I'm talking about, just say you know it. You could have read that energy right. That maybe I wasn't being completely whatever.
I understand you.
Do you?
Yeah. So I want to ask you.
I'm gonna kick your ass with your fucking sarcasm right now. I'm not joking about the gaslighting shit.
I'm not gaslighting
I'm
you.
a psychic witch.
Okay, I understand. I'm not gaslighting you. I'm trying to acknowledge what you're going through and what you're feeling and what you're viewing from your point of view. I might not agree to the full extent of everything, but I'm not gaslighting you in any type of way, and I understand where you're coming from. Did I feel a little bit confused and wanted to understand more, and that may have come across as I was reluctant or didn't want to go about doing this? Maybe, might be. But like I'm saying to you, in the future, I will work on those things so that we can have a much smoother process.
So trust me. When I
I
just
do
say
trust
just
you.
record, just let me record like this. Just trust me too. That's what I'm asking
All
for.
right, player. All right, player. I got you. I got you.
Can we agree to
Yes,
trust
we
each other?
agreed. Yes.
Try new things.
Yes. Can I ask you this question now? It's been 30 minutes, and the people want to hear us talk about you, not us.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too.
How was love like in your household growing up with your parents?
It seems like you just turn we just shift gears.
Yep.
Um what do you mean love, like affectionate,
Yeah, love,
joyful, like the
affection,
energy in my
intimacy.
household,
What
like
was the love like between your parents, love and marriage like between your parents, and you and your siblings?
I would say my relationship between my parents was there's love. They've been married for a long time. They've been together for a long time. It's very codependent, I would say. My mom and dad have been together since my mom was 14, my dad was 17, like in high school. They've moved across the country together. I think that looking back, it's clear that they were winging it,
Mm-hmm.
much like we are winging it. Um, I think that they were pretty liberal for black parents. Like I wasn't really like brought up in a religious household with like going to church or Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught that like Jesus is some white man that white people made up,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's not your God. Um, we talked to each other like very matter of factly. I was talked to like I'm talking to you. Um, And I think that like maybe there was a lack of like because we had a jokey, laughy family. My dad's a writer, he's a comedian. That's the way in which we communicate in like lighthearted banter and um jokes.
Mm.
So that was the love language in my household, joking on each other, my
Teasing.
teasing.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, because they were kids when they met, are, I think there's a lot of immaturity in their relationship that was pretty obvious to me at a young age. Um, I remember like infidelity accusations, probably not accusations, probably fact. I remember my dad not coming home sometimes, a lot of times. I just remember thinking like, God, my mom's obsessed with my dad, and that's not cute. And arguing, yes. But then there's also good times where we traveled together and went on road trips, and family time is still of importance. And yeah.
Do you think the way that your parents spoke to you or speak to you affects or like, trickles into your relationship now?
Why are you like,
What do you think? Do you think that affects your relationship?
this seems
What do you,
it seems like the interviewer has a personal
but did it?
goal, a personal agenda
No,
here.
no, no, no,
I
no, 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 no,
feel like
no,
this might be
no,
a conflict of
no, no.
interest.
Okay, in your current relationship with your person, how do you feel like the
I
way
think
you were spoken to, the way you were raised in different aspects? Do you think it like shows up in your relationship?
I think maybe my lack of patience
Mm-hmm.
for common sense. I need a lot of like I notice even when I talk to Luna, it's just like very matter of fact. I only notice it because some of my friends talk to their kids super soft, and like I'm just not that way. I have a more direct style of communication, and I probably could use like more skills in the affirmation department, but because that's not something that I received, it's not something that's first nature to me.
Ah.
Nah,
it's just very interesting because you know we assume and I realized this when speaking to Farron, that we assume that the nurturing and the softness part just comes automatically with young women, just like how we assume that the protecting and providing just comes automatic with men. And so even though um I'm sure your partner is so in love with you, I just am curious about if there's anything that has to be overcome in the relationship to 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 have to, I don't want to say deal with, but have to accept the lack of softness within the relationship.
are you saying for me specifically, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because if you're saying that you were spoken to in a certain type of way, and now you're reflecting that off, and even with me, there are certain things that I didn't know how to do because I didn't really hear it in my own family. I didn't really know how to apologize or say sorry, or if I felt remorseful, I felt so bad because I knew I probably hurt somebody's feelings, but because I never really had anybody apologize to me when they did something wrong, I would question like, well, did I really do something wrong? I know I feel bad about what I did, but did I really do something wrong? Are their feelings really hurt? It would seem like it, but I wasn't sure because I never really saw what it looked like when somebody was hurt and they got an apology, or if I was hurt and I got an apology from a parent.
You
For,
didn't you
for
didn't you didn't know how to even
I
acknowledge
didn't even, yeah,
because you rarely had the opportunity to acknowledge if you were.
yeah, or and my own feelings weren't acknowledged, so it's hard for me to acknowledge somebody else's when I
Would,
felt remorseful towards them.
would you say you came from a family that affirmed you a lot or talked to you
No,
gently or from a mother who talked to you softly?
no, but I was actually a kid that was actually a soft-spoken kid. I love giving compliments. I love being nice to people, making them feel comfortable. So
Were
but
you
I
that
was
way with your
aware,
mother?
huh?
Were you that way with your mom?
Um, in my up until I was a teenager, but after 18 and really after 17, really after 16, at 15 years old. But no, I do remember, yeah, like my mid-teens, I was nice to my mom, and then at some point, I was going to school like, yeah, my mom's a bitch, bro. I want to go home. I could come by your crib. Can I come chill by you? Because my mom's a bitch. And I would call my mom a bitch. I remember a whole high school year, I was calling my mom a bitch because she was really on 100.
Did you ever consider what she maybe was going through at that time or now that we're
No,
having this conversation?
I do. You know what the funny thing is? Me considering what my mom has gone through, her life and most of her life and her adult life and with my dad has made me not completely 100% right off my mom. I just know that I have to have some type of like distance or some type of boundary when it comes to my mom. And sometimes it's been a thin layer of wall, and sometimes it's been a very thick, distant wall that I have to place between me and my mom because she be wildin'.
Do you think that my direct and sometimes aggressive tone
Nature.
and triggers you because you come from a mom that you think lacked
Sometimes.
softness?
Sometimes it does. Because I've put it in my head. Excuse me. And I put it in my head
Not
and
the
it's really,
audio experience.
feel me? I put it in my head and it's been a lingering, festering thought that when I was a kid, I didn't do a lot. I didn't do anything to deserve a lot of the things that I got. A lot of the punishments, a lot of like the negative things that I experienced. Not really. I didn't do anything to deserve to experience them. So now when I've gotten to my adult age, there would be things that would happen, and if I don't feel like I did anything
Deserve that
to
behavior.
deserve that behavior, I would get even more annoyed than I needed to
Because
be.
it's like back pay for the times you got reprimanded for things you
It's
didn't
back pay for
deserve.
the times I never got to speak up for myself.
I'm something's coming up here. I think that I'm acknowledging right now. I think that in my childhood, I didn't have one thing that was not welcomed in my household. Was I don't know.
Hmm.
That is
Oh,
not.
you needed an answer for something.
I needed to figure it out.
Hmm.
Like it was never good enough to be like you don't know. Like you figure it out. You use common sense. These are things that have been told to me. Like use your brain,
Hmm.
use your common sense. Where's your common sense? Like I don't know was not like a
A viable response.
was not a viable response. So in this conversation, I'm noticing you saying I don't know really annoys the shit out of me.
Hmm.
So sometimes I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, you know the thing about why I kind of dive into saying that I don't know now is because I never said it. I similar to you had to always figure it out. I'm an only child, so I had to figure it out on my own, even in my adult age. A lot of the reasons why I could do so much now at the age of 34, my birthday passed, y'all. Shout out to me.
34 years
Oh,
old. So I don't want to hear no motherfucking old jokes as you're 2 feet in
what
the
are you talking
30.
about? You're 40, babe.
No, I'm not. I'm 36. So we're only really 2 years
No,
apart.
we're
Two and a half years apart.
I'm in my mid 30s and you're in your late 30s.
No, 36 is not the late 30s. It's still the
You're
mid.
turning 37 this year. That's late
But
30s.
I
You're
right
in your
now,
mid to late 30s.
no, mid.
Late.
Mid.
Late.
Mid.
Late.
34 to 36 is the middle.
The point is,
Not the point is.
don't distract me from what I'm saying. I'm having a sentimental moment. This is what
Don't
I'm
call
talking
me 40 again.
about. Okay, I won't call you 40.
I'm not 40.
It's okay, sorry. What was I saying?
Nothing's wrong with 40. I'm just not there yet.
I was
Don't rush it.
okay, fine, sure. Okay. cougar.
You're the finest 40 you ever fucking seen. Gonna be eating
Okay,
this
you're
40
I get it.
pussy.
You're 40, fine. Sheesh. Um, I growing up had to always figure it out. In my 20s, I had made so many mistakes and I had to resolve them myself. So now that I'm in I realized that that breed a lot of people pleasing qualities in me because no matter when somebody wanted something or wanted to know something, I had to have an answer. You know, my nose right now. Oh, you're such a good woman. Wipe my nose. Thank you. Oh, you're such a good woman. Are you doing this on camera? Can I get that? You doing it on camera to show them how much a good woman you are?
Oh, I'm not soft or nurturing.
Now you wiping my nose.
Wipe your own goddamn nose since I'm not soft or
Come on, let
nurturing.
me rub your feet again. Um, so I'm realizing that yeah, when I was younger, I always had to have an answer for something. I always had to answer to the adults. I always had to know. And I realize how detrimental that can be. So if I don't know something, I'm not gonna force it or force myself to answer. And it's like, yo, I don't know something. And actually that's quite normal to be in a world where you don't know everything.
I know, but I feel like maybe I'm triggered by that response because I too had to figure out a lot of shit on my own. Maybe
Yeah.
I,
And
maybe,
sometimes
maybe you should consider if you actually don't know if it's like a response that you're just straightforward. I think there's probably a place we
no,
could meet each other in the
no,
middle.
before what I had to do when I didn't know, I would come up with something. And that's what I got tired of doing. I got tired of making up shit to act like I know shit just to please people. And I just wanted to be okay with not being everything. I wanted to be okay with not knowing everything. I wanted to be okay with not being able
Do
to do
you have
everything.
a specific scenario in your recollection that you didn't know something and you gotta
School. If I didn't know my schoolwork, I would get beat. And I got beat a lot as a kid.
mm.
And so, yeah, like
Like
now
with the
that I have
belt?
the freedom, with belt, hanger, like all different types. I'm Jamaican, so we got beat in all different types of ways in creativity. Um,
Not
but
funny.
yeah, no, because yeah, it must be nice because you didn't get to like beating like me.
I've getting beaten,
Oh,
but not I wasn't getting
oh,
beat ever.
American beatings. Oh,
Now we have American African American
African
beef.
American
Got
Afro
it.
Caribbean beatings. But
How are we ever gonna make it in our relationship?
yeah, no, I've had a lot of moments where I had to come up with an answer for something. So now in life, when I'm an adult and I don't want to people please for everybody, and I don't want to feel like there's like a knife to my neck if I don't have an answer for something, like, yo, I don't know. And I want to feel okay in that. And sometimes I do see you respond to Luna in that, and it's like kind of like, yo, she's
Oh,
not
but when
raised
she
like
says she
us.
doesn't know,
Yeah, well, there's certain things just like shows that like she's not raised like us, and like it's okay if she's missing some. I don't know. If she's not great in like some parts of her life.
I mean, what anybody ever said she needs to be greater at?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying this mentality of you don't like when people respond to you with an I don't know or they aren't enthused or they're not doing something that you may want in the moment, right? That
Don't go
doesn't
back
make
to
that.
this fucking morning
Okay,
meditation.
okay, okay.
Do
Sorry,
not
sorry,
go
sorry,
back.
sorry. Okay, sorry.
After you
Well,
ask me to record 14
okay, okay,
meditations,
okay,
and then
okay.
I say,
All
okay, and then you're not
right. All
enthused.
right. All I'm saying is there are just certain moments within my life where I didn't have the space to do certain things or the space to lack because I always had to be on. I always had to be perfect. Or else I'm liable to get my ass beat. And that's not a good feeling to have. And it's not a good feeling to have in your adulthood where it may feel like, yo, if you don't know everything, you don't know how to do everything, or if you don't have an answer right now, then there's going to be a problem. That's not a good feeling to live with.
Do you feel like when you don't have a solution or an answer, you don't figure things out, that I um, retract my love? Do you think that's
Yeah.
a
I,
trauma?
I think that's your first go-to thing to do is to retract your love.
How do I retract my love?
You- I mean, there's different ways you can do it. You could just dismiss. You can get dismissive. You can walk away from a conversation. You can even start a question, and if you don't like the answer, you'll just walk away from the conversation. And it's just like, so I don't get the respect or the space to actually explain myself, to explain my point of view, or from what my point of view to just be enough. And then that doesn't feel good.
Got it.
Because it feels like if I'm only good if I'm good. And if I'm lacking, then you're not good enough to even be even to be given the respect to have a response or have a conversation with. Oh, you ain't saying something I like? I don't want to hear this right now. And that's the feeling that comes across.
I'll consider that.
Oh. and I'll consider what you I'll consider for you too, baby.
I
But yeah, like that's truly how it feels when you're getting dismissed. It's if you're not perfect, if you're not on, if you don't know, then I'm not entertaining you or this relationship at all.
Do you think that someone taking space or taking a break means I don't want to entertain you or this relationship at all?
I mean, if I know that they're taking space or taking a
I
break,
do notice that if I need to pause a conversation or walk away for a moment, that is particularly triggering to you.
well, it's because you don't pause the conversation, you just walk away from it. There is not a communication of, "Hey, I'm going to take space and take space away from this conversation because I don't have a viable way to come to a solution in this moment." So I think
I have said like I don't think we're not agreeing
no,
right now.
that's not let's slow down now. Let's tell the truth.
I am telling the truth.
That's
There are
not
times
that's
where I'm
not
like, I need a
there,
minute.
yeah, no, there's been times where it's happened with like, yo, I don't think we're coming to a solution right now, but saying, hey, I'm going to take some time and some space away from this conversation because we're not coming to a solution. It's two different things, and that hasn't happened. You will just up and walk away or just say, stop talking to me. And that doesn't feel good because it only feels like you want to talk to me if things are great and if things are good, or if I'm saying and agreeing with you.
Not only if you're agreeing with me.
Yeah. So, that's just how it
Oh,
shows.
yeah, Mama knows best.
Yeah. It's the same thing my mom used to say.
Your mom said that.
No, she did.
Are you joking?
I'm being dead very, very much so dead serious. And there would be times where my mom would do things to me and be dead wrong. You know what people would say to me? But that's your mom. So I've been grown with this mentality that women are right, and like when they're speaking to you and they're angry, it's shut the fuck up time. And I don't think that's truly fair that we don't get to both be able to really dive into and show both of our emotions. Only you get to show your emotion, and if I show mine, I need to shut the fuck up. And that's been the growth pattern for me and women.
You feel silenced by women.
No, I feel silenced by my mom, and
Well, as a
I've seen
result,
how it comes up
it
and shows up
triggers.
in no, and it's not every woman that it happens with, but I see how women can have that tone and space where if they want to not deal with some shit, just gonna walk away.
It triggers that wound for you.
Yeah, it's a ignoring wound that I've had.
I mean, there's definitely a point where we can get into conflict or arguments, and then I could like see childlike Orlando show up.
Yeah, and I can see how teenage you just pops out. It happens. We can see it within each other. So yeah, I just want that to be recognized and realized
What are you
that
saying is teenage me when I don't want to
you have a very like I'm storming off, going to my room and slamming the door behind me and playing loud rock music. Like I don't want to hear nothing from my parents today.
Shut up.
I'm a fucking write in my journal. I'm gonna play music loud as fuck, and I'm gonna slam my door. I might scream in my pillow. It's like I can see you doing that in our
I
relationship.
didn't scream at any pillows. I might have been better off if I had.
But I can see
She's
it.
been working on that as an adult.
I see it happening within our relationship. And so yeah, when the times where you just storm off or you just walk away, it's just like, oh, so I don't get a say. I don't get my feelings acknowledged. And so it just goes back to me being um It's not even me being a teenager because
You just want to be heard.
yeah, and I don't even want to be right. I just want to be heard and my point of view acknowledged. No, I'm good. And my point of view acknowledged. That's really all it is. And then wherever we land on if I'm wrong and you're right, or if I'm right or you're wrong, or we're both fucking wrong, we're both fucking right, we just land there. Because I never had the moment in life when I was a kid to be right about anything. So being right is not even my concern anymore.
Do you feel like you have a hard time trusting women because you had a hard time trusting your mom?
No, actually, I trust women wholeheartedly because women outside of my mom showed me that they were trustworthy and that they were lovable and that this was a specific scenario that my
Person.
mother was in and mixed with personality that my mother's personality.
Your mom's an Aries.
Aries, Jesus fucking Christ.
What's her birthday?
April 7th. It took me about 29 years to remember my mom's
Not
birthday.
29. Nigga, you're 34 years
Never.
old.
Right. But yeah.
You stopped talking to her and then you remembered?
Yeah, right? As soon as I started talking to my mom, her fucking birthday was etched into my mind. But yeah, so when I get this feeling or energy of being ignored, that's what drives me up the wall, and that is a direct correlation to my relationship with my mom being ignored. Yeah. Yeah. Do you still remember what your first experience with love was like?
Like loving a boy?
I mean, you're a little lesbian, so you could have been a girl.
There were many. I was in love with Asia in the 8th grade.
What was your first one like? Do you remember the first one or first experience with love?
Love? I don't know. Like puppy love.
I
Yeah.
mean, what you think is love?
I totally thought I mean, when I look back at my teenage, junior high journals, I had a really high regard for liking the wrong boys,
Hmm.
and then
What was his name?
Damien.
Danian. Fucking Danian.
Yeah.
Danian being such an intricate part of this podcast all of a sudden.
In 7th grade, I was
Fucking
going
Danian.
fucking crazy over fucking Damien.
You and Shakem went to the same high school, St. Junior High?
We're in the same valley.
Yeah.
I don't even think. I think that boy was bad. He popped around from all the junior highs, so I wasn't even doing that. But I always had liked like not the right guy. But I remember there was a boy that I was so in love with. Oh my god, he got my name tattooed on him, and like
Wow. I don't even have your name tattooed on me.
yeah, full thing. It's still there. He he had a hard life, and I think he didn't. Hopefully he's good now, but I saw him homeless a couple of years ago, like right down the street actually, and it fucked with me really badly. I was in love with him. I was fucking taking the bus, lying to my parents, wearing lingerie underneath my school uniform. I was just going nuts. It was him, and then it was also my child's father, who I've known since like I was fucking 13. But I remember him like this is what I do remember. My child's father has always been like obsessed with me.
Yeah.
Always since we were like young. This boy wasn't obsessed with me. And this is a lesson for all the young ladies who are listening. And hopefully Luna one day too. It's like always like who likes you. I mean, that didn't really treat me so well either. But this nigga, I just remember he had issues though. But I think he like cheated on me or didn't show up to the movies, and I got dropped off at the movies, and I was fucking hysterical, just fucking hysterical. And that was my first time like really realizing like, oh my god, like a boy can have this much power over your well-being. I was hysterical. And like what does it mean, the word I'm trying to like
Self-love?
yeah, like I kind of internalized the rejection. I think that's a big thing. I think we need to teach like our kids like not internalizing rejection, like allowing people to go, allowing people to leave, allowing to know like you're this level of a person, and if someone doesn't choose you, who cares?
It doesn't change who you are or yeah.
Like your self-worth.
Yeah.
And like your standards. So I think that was my first heartbreak, I think.
No.
Even in my lesbian love in Asia in the 8th grade, like was playing between me and my friend, this other girl that I like, and she would like go to her and come back to me, and it was like so devastating.
Yeah.
That's how my mom found out I like bitches, because I wrote it in my journal. I was like writing in my folder about like, why would Asia do this to me? Like I just love Asia so fucking much. And it was always, but you know, now that I think about it too, is like I heard that a lot with my mom. My dad going to be with other bitches. Like there is like maybe that is something that I picked up on. Like I do have a huge trust issue. I do have a huge jealousy issue.
You have a big trauma about leaving and not knowing, or just leaving abruptly.
Well, since we're getting into the things, now that I think about it, my dad used to do this thing. Sad. He would always leave, and I would always not want him to leave. And he would be like, "We're gonna play hide and go seek. Count to 100." So I would go count, and then he would leave the house. And then I would realize he was gone, and I would be fucking hysterical.
Gosh, dads, man. Remember my dad? My dad's one was, yeah, I'm coming over. I'm around the corner.
Oh yeah, I'm around the corner. That's a
It'd be
big one. I'm
5
around the
hours
corner.
later,
Yeah,
and I'm
around-
like, how far is this fucking corner?
I'm around the corner.
And
yeah.
I would believe it every single time.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
now
on the
my
way
trauma
around
is
the
I don't
corner.
make promises to anybody. So
Yeah, I'm around the corner is a big one. That's like a black dad like slogan. There should be a slogan for black dads.
Oh, so
I'm
the
around
African
corner.
American dads did it too? Because
Yeah.
the African Caribbean dads did it all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, I do have and I realize my mom has that trauma.
Yeah.
I noticed like when my dad like even walks off in the store, like her jealousy is high, probably because he made her crazy. But now I have to talk myself, like that inner voice has to be like, I have to talk myself through like psychoness, and maybe not psychoness, maybe it's intuition, but like I had to go on a deep dive of what, like pulling my self-worth outside of people. Like if someone, because I noticed like niggas will also play with you that way, like try to make it seem like there's somebody else. I've
Yeah.
been a victim of that too, and I'm like, when you can really sit in the jealousy and the insecurity and like the fear of someone leaving you, you can kind of trace it back. And that's what in that moment, I know I've said this before, like this guy who was totally a fucking stupid ass guy, but I was obsessed at the time as a full grown kind of on a pretty good healing journey adult. I knew better. He was like fucking with me, and I was like, bitch, we've done too much work for this. And I remember him like fucking with me and like leaving, and I had to sit with myself. And I, for some reason, like my memory, my body took me back to me being a kid in my house. I imagined what the house looked like one of the first houses we lived in out here. And I found myself in the house. Like I saw all the rooms, and I found myself like in the office of the house. And I told myself, it's okay. Like, you can let him leave. It doesn't mean anything. And I realized at that moment, like it was connected to some other shit. But, you know, I don't know, like intuitively I went through that process, but had I not recognized it, I wouldn't have seen, like, I've inherited a lot of my mom's jealousy and trust issues because I grew up around it. And even like, you know, with you, like I can be gone and not see you for 2 weeks, and I can have a thought come up that's totally has untriggered by anything, and then I can be like, do I still like this nigga? Can I trust him? You know, but I also have to recognize like that lives in me, and so it's something I have to like reverse.
Oh my God. So imagine you're sitting here worried about, yo, can I trust this guy? And then reacting to that. And I'm sitting here like, I'm not even doing anything. Why can't you trust me? Because nobody's really giving me the chance and space when I was younger. What a dynamic. What a fucking dynamic.
I mean, sometimes the levers that you choose, I really do believe sometimes the levers that you choose, there's a mirror that is required. You know, there's a lesson there. There's, you know, a childhood that fucking reflects a different, you know, requires you to rise to the occasion of loving this person, requires you to dig back inside yourself and say, what is coming? Like, oftentimes we shield ourselves from healing, you know, like you could become a certain adult. You can kind of, outside of parenthood, outside of living with your parents and probably a few roommates in college and shit, like parents are the first people you live with, and it's forced, and your spouses and like lovers, you know what I mean? And so a lot of times when those things don't work out, it's like, are you willing to go back inside yourself and be like, this is how I'm triggered. This is what shows up for me. Like, because now I'm forced to have a interpersonal cohabitating relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was isolated, I would never be triggered by anyone except the waitress at the fucking restaurant, and I can go home. The yoga instructor and shit. You know what I mean? You build up this like isolation, so then you're not forced to grow. You're not forced to see anything until there's conflict, and you're like, oh shit, I have to work this out with this person, and why is it? What in my fucking lineage, in my traumas, is not meshing with whatever you need or whatever.
Yeah. Did you see how I asked this correctly? Did you see things? Did you ever see yourself like becoming like your parents' relationship? The reason why I ask is because sometimes we try to avoid things so much that we end up right into them, especially when it comes to becoming our parents. I personally didn't like the way my dad dealt with women, so I tried my best not to be like my dad, only to sometimes feel like only sometimes come around women and be like, "Oh no, you hurt my feelings," and I'm like, "But I did everything right. I'm doing all these right things."
You think if you're not doing as your dad does, then you're not hurting women, but
Exactly.
you can hurt women in a whole different way. And
exactly.
just because you're not trying to be like him, it can still be cohort. You know the word.
Fucking words.
You know what I'm trying to
the
say.
author.
Sudden. I mean, subtle.
Yeah, yes. It can be a subtle similarity.
Like you can paint it in kindness and paint it in honesty, but in at its bare bones, there are still roots of the same source of manipulation.
Right. And I mean, I did do pretty well because
he did terrible.
Yeah, so it's even easier. But I did do pretty well because my whole mentality was, oh, just be opposite of my parents and I'll be okay. But actually, you need to see. You need to see it happening, not see the opposite, because then you're just going to try and figure it out on your own. And you kind of need some type of guidance or direction with doing everything. But
what do you mean?
I mean, I saw my dad treat women badly, right? So my whole thing was, oh, just do the opposite of my dad.
But
you
still need a good example to fill in for the voidness. I still wasn't good, but I never had an example of what was good.
Yeah.
And so I'm still winging it in some capacity.
Exactly. Okay. And still making the mistakes that I'm trying to avoid. And that usually happens with a bunch of us. And the reason why I was
phone away from your balls, we need the balls.
Oh, we do need the balls. The reason why I was saying that was because did you see your things that happen with your patterns show up in your past relationships?
Yeah. I think that was like my greatest gift when I with my baby daddy. We were like high school sweethearts, so were they. We had to go together for years and years and years. But I just wasn't happy, and it showed up differently because it wasn't like, I mean, there was some infidelity, but like he would have never left me, and honestly, my parents would never leave each other. It's been 100 years.
Yeah.
But I saw a cycle of like just not being happy, being in a relationship, and growing a child in the same environment, and that was my biggest catalyst to make moves. I was like, I know what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Like, I know how stressed my dad is. I know how stressed my mom is, and they choose it every day. They love it. Yeah. So I chose to do the hard thing and was like, yeah, you got to go, and then stay gone. Because it took me a long time to not like I noticed when I start to panic or fear comes up,
you went very back.
I could go like, this is what's comfortable for me.
Yeah,
I know it I know I'm familiar with this hell.
Yeah,
so I'll it feels good. It felt good to me sometimes. So yeah, there was definitely a need to shift.
Yeah, you did do some shifting, baby.
And I have.
Yeah, and you have, and I'm happy that you have because I got you. But also,
and we're in it together. We're in it to change. We're in it to shift. We're in it to
I get to see your growth. I get to see the part of you that saw something that you didn't like and you want to be better. But also, I can see even in that, even in those moments and conversations we have, that you recognize who you were in that moment and you wanted to be better than a person that would settle for or be in these scenarios. Yeah, and that's what makes you so lovable because you're a lovable person, and I see how you didn't let like all these hardships and heartbreaks like scar you.
Yeah, and I mean, I always say that I've been a slow learner. Like even right now, I realize like not that I drink every day, but like I like to drink, I like to have fun, and like I didn't even equate it to like my parents being that way until like
Mhm.
I was thinking back, and one time I was visiting from college. It was like a Tuesday afternoon, and we were going to the mall. Like me and my friend had come home from college. We were like just at my parents' house, and they like made margaritas to go.
Mhm.
It was just not for any particular reason except that we were going to the mall. And that was just, that's always been like regular. And I still kind of think it's regular, you know, because why would you not take a margarita to the mall? But I
We do
just,
be making to-go drinks now.
but I just realized like, okay, well, maybe that's even that something so like so
Subtle.
small, subtle is like, okay, maybe I can like, if I'm going to change how I talk or how I show up, like maybe I need to
Mhm.
like observe this thing too and just,
Improve on yourself.
gentle improvements.
Yeah. With all of these, subtle and overt like experiences that you're having and that you're having to grow from and stuff like that, you're obviously becoming better, right? All the time, becoming more healed. And you're even aware of that when you're in fucked up position, you're saying, I'm too healed for this. Um,
It's happened, baby.
but after all this healing and growth and stuff like that, what has made you lovable? What about you makes you lovable?
What about me makes me lovable?
Mhm.
Um, I guess my willingness to grow,
Yeah.
my willingness to be self-aware and give myself gentle lessons and dust off and try again.
Mhm. Are you going towards like the marriage direction?
Yeah, and I recognize that too. It's like I am going towards the marriage direction since I'm recently engaged.
Yeah, congrats.
And thanks. And like that's a rite of passage. There's things happening that like I think I so deeply was so in deep celebration of my rebellion of breaking out of that relationship and embracing this, this life of being free and being a single mom and still being able to exist in all of my essences. And now I'm like, okay, I'm moving into this other part where I'm like, I'm not a single mom and I still can exist in all my essences, but I'm getting married and I'm moving to this other rite of passage and I'm having a baby and I'm moving to this other, like planning on having a baby. And like, what does that, if I'm doing it intentionally, what does that look like? What version of me in welcoming the shift and just the cycles,
Yeah.
even though I've existed in a different.
Well,
Hmm.
how at this point do you define love?
Um, Love, I feel like, is liberating.
Hmm.
How do you feel since you're moving into marriage and still essentially without that? I mean, like, you probably have some examples of like marriage that you um look up to, but how does it feel for you to be moving into this space?
Oh, I love it. I've I feel like I've gotten this big goal out of the way that I've had like since I was a kid. Like I've always wanted to
Is it a goal or is it like an initiation? With like, how do you see? Like, what do you think it has to shift now that you're moving into that? Like, is there something that has to shift? Like, what does that mean for you?
I don't really know if there's anything that has to shift because I've been like steadily preparing for this for a long time. Like I've been in preparation to be in a space with somebody that I want to be with for the rest of my life. I've always wanted to like find love and look for it. So my I was actually more shifting into being single because I was such a lover boy.
Mhm.
I was always wanting to be in love and all these things. So I had to shift away from that to like be single and date and find somebody. But I'm a lover boy at heart. So it's like I can be single and dating somebody and everybody's looking at me like, is that your girlfriend, Monica? Like y'all really move like y'all together. And it's like, no, I'm single, but I do like to love up on people and be loving and make people feel comfortable. Um what I was gonna ask you before you define love, skip
I
that too
defined
fast.
love.
No, that's not what I was gonna ask you
Oh,
was this always your path for yourself, like being married or going down the path of finding somebody to be married, or was it just like if it happens, it happens, or I'm just not even looking forward to it?
no, I think like it's always been to be married. I've always seen myself as a wife. Like I'm thinking about like my first visions of who I would be. Yeah, like I saw myself married and with kids, and it wasn't until I think trauma and reality hit me that I was like,
Hmm.
I'm cool. Like I think, the same my parents' relationship and just seeing women also just act fucking stupid over niggas
Hmm.
really turned me off. And I'd like this like and when I hear you talk about it and you're so like
Love
bright
your
eyed and
point.
bushy tailed, I'm like, wow, how cute that is. And I realized that yeah, I did once really like fantasize about like happily ever after. But after that first try, I think it fucked me up a bit.
Hmm.
And now I'm recalibrating. Like
You're really the boy who was like, that girl hurt me when I was 14 years old.
I
It's been fuck
know.
bitches ever
No,
since.
I tried to marry.
And ever since that time, I was like, fuck Hector.
I tried to marry that guy who could not get over the 14-year-old fucking hoe that I was, which was
Just
pretty major,
how'd
but
that go? How'd that trying to marry him go?
horribly. He
Okay.
took it out on me I've been a hoe in his
Wait,
eyes.
wait, 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 wait. What? Take it back. What did you do at 14 years old?
I was discovering my pussy and like fucking
Oh, and your boyfriend at the time. Wait, who was your boyfriend at the time?
my baby daddy.
Oh, he found out that you were you cheated. Did you cheat on him, or you were just out there just doing what you
I
want?
was like 17, 16, fucking a porn star and
Oh, he found out,
yes.
and he brings it up every single time.
I mean, it wasn't even that specific. It was just, I mean, I was just
Yeah.
young and outside, and I just wasn't, he was obsessed, and I
He
was,
was obsessed with you, but at the same
and then I
time,
became a
he.
lesbian. And when I went to college, like we were still together, and I was supposed to go. I obviously still feel guilt about this. I was supposed to fly out and see him, and I didn't. I stayed with my girlfriend. Like
Mhm.
I was just a bitch, And I told him when we got back together, I'm like, I already know, like I was foul. And he was too. We were just young, And I'm like, but
Yeah.
if it's not shit you can get over, like, please don't waste my time.
Mhm.
And he said, like, and he said he could. And obviously he could not because he fucking terrorized me. Terrorized me.
So y'all terrorized each other. Y'all grew up and was like, okay, let's do this and let's be adults
I
about
did
it.
most of the terrorizing
When you were
in
younger,
our teenage years.
y'all were
Yes.
teenagers.
Yes.
Like, grow the fuck up.
Yeah, I was like literally, yeah,
Yeah.
discovering my pussy for real for the first time.
But in essence,
And a people pleaser, not having the words to say.
I don't want to really be with you right now. I want to take this time to be with myself and figure out myself, and I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Exactly.
But
Um,
him being really into you, and then also you really figuring it out yourself, really did a number on him. But also on the other end, you feeling hurt from boys at an earlier age when you got to him was just like, I already know how you niggas give it up.
I mean,
I
I
already know how y'all
understand.
mean to me, so I'm gonna do for me a little bit,
I
and
understand
then
there was not a lot
something
of
just
trust. Yeah.
continues. But it's to say, you had this hurt from when you were younger, but we as an adult we have to move away and out of that and realize that every single kid at that time is figuring it out and hurting each other's
I mean,
feelings.
we're all out here hurting each other until we decide to do something different.
Yeah.
We're literally like humans are made to manipulate. You're made like you're literally created to get what you want.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, it's only like a conscious, aware adult that says, "Oh, okay, this was not okay. This is gonna shift. This is narcissistic. This is selfish. This feels fucked up." Like hopefully you're not a sociopath. But we're all out here hurting each other until we decide to do better. So it's like, do you want to go fuck around with the people who haven't decided to do better, or do you want to go fuck around with the people who are also waking up and deciding to do better?
Yeah.
So there's two groups of people: people who are out here fucking just hurting each other, balls to the wall, and the people who are like, okay, I'm gonna heal myself because I realize
'Cause it
my
doesn't feel
hurt
good.
is hurting people.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and I'm happy that you've come to that realization and then become a better person from it. Because I could just see. I can see how we all really are the same person, like men and women, and they and them. We all are very similar in our upbringing, and realizing that just like how boys get their feelings hurt and just want to be terrorists all the rest of their life, like sometimes women get their feelings hurt and not really care about other people's feelings. But at the end of the day, we all just have to choose to be better. How do you think that women can handle men better in the realm of love?
Um, I've just maybe creating a safe space
Hmm.
for honesty, for vulnerability, to not jump to judge. And I feel like that's the thing for men too. If you could just like let us be, and
Yeah,
vice versa, like leave space for real shit, leave space
leave
for
space for real
honesty.
shit is good.
Yeah.
Give me a fist bump on that. That was really good.
Like our partners are human.
Hmm.
They're not like this avatar that we create in our minds. It's not like you're piecing together the fucking Ken doll from, the toy
Yeah,
box. It's like literally a human. They're going to come with some shit that gets on your nerves.
yeah,
They're going to come flawed. They're going to come with childhood trauma that sometimes is not always going to mesh with your childhood trauma.
hmm,
It's going to actually directly not mesh. And then you're going to have conversations like this that say, okay, well, what is it specifically that I'm doing or saying that is triggering this experience that you had with this parent, and vice versa. And then doing that a lot of times
yeah,
because it's stuff that you have been programmed. You have to reprogram yourself.
yeah. Ooh. I'm so happy that we've both grown. And that's also something that I realized and I love about us when we got to really start knowing about each other more and started to know more about like our childhood and stuff like that. I would say to you like, "Oh my gosh, we're just so similar. Like we're just curious kids trying to figure it out." And I'm happy to know all these truths about you and show you that I'm not gonna judge you, and still respect you and love you all the same because I recognize that you're just as human as me. And I've even had moments where women have gone, "Whoa, you did that? That's oh my gosh, I can't." Ugh.
Have you?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I've been way too much for a lot of women before, but
You're
also,
almost too much for me, my G. I said it. I said he's too much. I'm not signing up for
but there's
this.
definitely been times where women were just not enough for me, so I didn't even feel the need to really engage or continue with them because I was like, you can't handle all of this. I'm a gentleman. I'm nice. I'm sweetheart. And I'm definitely husband material. But at the same time, there has to be some kind of like equality between me and my partners. And that's really been why, like, a lot of times I'll just like ease my way out of relationships or ease my way out of like situations where like,
Equality is in like you could do what they could do.
no, as in like
Because I feel like
y'all
men
are
have
just you're
always.
just not on the same curiosity level. You're just not on the same
Oh.
like movement. You like me because I'm a great husband figure. But other
Not a
than
husband
that,
figure.
no, I mean husband figure in the sense of like I'm nice, I'm kind. Nikki, you girl, you see how I am. You know how perfect I am. But yeah, I want you to take this time to um dedicate some love to someone. Anyone out there that you'd like to send some love to, you can take a moment and shout them out.
Um, dedicating shout out to the lovers who are doing hard things together, navigating through childhood trauma, adult trauma, trying to heal themselves while navigating being adults and navigating your partners, and to the children that are also getting the test run,
Yeah.
and just giving us all a little grace and love as we do our very fucking best to be the new adults.
Hmm. We're adulting, baby.
Woohoo!
Woohoo. Just gonna make some margaritas in a to-go cup.
Honestly, I was thinking about the
Yeah.
gingerita up the street.
Yeah. I'm happy to experience life with you, love.
Me too.
Yeah, it's been really good, and I'm happy to hear your origin story and just know a little bit more about you, so I can know how to love you better. And that's the biggest reason why I've been doing this series with sitting down with men and women, one on one. I'm under the weather today. Fucking Luna got me sick. Um,
Don't blame my daughter.
so, fucking moms always got a fucking sticker for their kid. Um, why I've been happy to sit here and do these one on one with people because learning more about people's origin stories has really gave me a way better understanding of women, and men, and just the similarities that we have and the similarities that me and you have in the love space has been beautiful to see.
What's one of your biggest fears in the love space?
Leaving abruptly, just one day, just change your mind, or a situation coming up and it's like, man, I really shouldn't do this, but I really want to. And it's like, am I gonna cheat on Orlando today? I really want to do this. Those are like my fears. Like there's just that one situation, that one person, or just that one moment where you just like change your mind and you're like, I'm out of here.
I don't think
So
that.
yeah,
I don't.
abrupt, not leaving, but abrupt leaving or abrupt actions just out of nowhere.
What if it's you that does that?
I'm not capable. Perfect.
Well, wraps it up for the evening.
Yeah, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find us at Hoochie Mom and Dad. Leave a review, rate and review this podcast, this episode. It means a lot to us. My side chick podcast with my main husband.
Side podcast with my main bitch.
If you are looking for Orlando, you can find him at Orlando WH_Orlando, because he's a whore. And
whore from Whore Island.
And a whore from Whore Island. You can find me at Milah with an H_Mapp with 2 P's. If you're looking for tantra one-on-ones, if you're looking for sexy, intimate tips in the bedroom, you can go to patreon.com/love like this. And this is...
Damn it. Fucking Luna got me sick. Ugh.
And this is Love Like This by Hoochie Mom and Dad.
Love y'all.
I never knew there was a la like this.